Welcome to the Delight Your Marriage podcast, the show where you hear from amazing and inspiring wives sharing their struggles, triumphs, and advice for this journey called marriage. Here's your host, Belah Rose.
Hi there and welcome. This is Belah Rose, and I am excited to be with you today. If you've been here before, I want to say welcome back. Thank you so much for listening. It matters so much to me that you're here. And I want to share with you what I have been preparing and working really hard at is something that I think you're going to love. It's something that I'm really proud of, and it is a video series. It's actually an online training that I have put together for you for free. It's a video series on how to spice up the bedroom. I give you my tips and tricks. The very first one is called Crack the Confidence Code, the 5 things you need to start doing and the 5 things you need to stop doing to feel free and fierce in the bedroom. So that is what it is. It's very well put together as a PowerPoint presentation, and I want to just welcome you. Go to delightyourmarriage.com/video and you can sign up. It's going to come into your inbox. And again, it's very tastefully done, very well done, and I'd love for you to join me in that. So go to delightyourmarriage.com/video to receive my free online training. Okay, so if this is your first time tuning into Delight Your Marriage, I just want to say welcome. You are in a good, safe place where we talk about intimacy, we talk about love, we talk about sex, we talk about marriage, we talk about the hard stuff and the difficult stuff and the good stuff, and that is what we're talking about today with Sara, my guest. She actually is a listener to the Delight Your Marriage podcast and reached out to me, and I had to have her on and tell her story, but she's talked about how DYM was actually a big part of how her marriage has turned around, thank God. And her real name is not Sara, but that's what we're calling her today. Okay, well, let's go ahead and dive into this awesome interview with Sara. Okay, well, welcome back, Delight Your Marriage listener. I'm really thrilled to have Sara with me. Hi, Sara. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm great. Thank you.
Well, I am really excited to have you. Now, Sara is a listener, and she is gracious enough to tell us her story, and I'm just excited to hear it. So, Sara, would you go ahead and introduce yourself, your family, and a little bit about your day-to-day life?
Sure. My husband and I have been married for 22 years. We have a high school age daughter. She just started her senior year in high school today, as a matter of fact.
Ooh.
And we're in our 40s. We're outdoorsy people. We love being out in the country, fishing, hunting, anything to do with outdoors.
That's awesome. And I think you work full time, is that right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So it sounds like you're busy and you love the outdoors. I love that. I grew up actually in the rural part of Maryland, and I kind of miss, now I live in New York City. I miss a lot of that outdoors stuff. It's just sad sometimes.
Aww.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about you and your husband's personalities then. What are those like? Well,
that's probably a progression over the 22 years of our marriage. We're just he's very funny. Probably one of the things that attracted me to him in the beginning, and he's still very funny. He makes everybody laugh. And my daughter and I sometimes will have trouble knowing if he's being serious or making a joke. We'll have to say, now, are you being serious? And he loves to make people laugh. And
that's good.
I am more on the shy type, and I have to say, I was telling a joke to get anybody to laugh.
Me too, darn it.
I'm more quiet and shy. He's the funny one and outgoing, and we're Christians. We love God and we love our church.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I love that. Well, a lot of times the extroverts kind of pair up with the introverts, that kind of thing. Is that the case
Yes,
for the two
yes.
of you? Okay. So you're more of the introvert or the extrovert?
Oh, yes. I'm the introvert.
Okay. And he's more of the extrovert?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I hear that. It's me and my husband are the same way. I'm more of the extrovert. He's more of the introvert. And
Okay.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And it works out nicely.
Mhm.
We're not interrupting each other at parties. It works out well.
Yes.
Well, would you go ahead and share a story of the difficult season of your marriage? Oh, excuse me. Before I go into that, this whole podcast is to inspire and empower wives to live wholehearted in their marriage. And I wonder if you have a scripture or a quote that has meant a lot to you over the years that you could share.
Well, I have a lot. My favorite lately is I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Yes.
And that I have a bracelet with that on it, and I forgot to wear it today, and I was sad that I forgot to wear it. But I like to look at it through the day to remind me that, yes, I definitely can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Yes.
But also, just recently, one of my favorite verses has been Proverbs 5:18 and 19 that says, "Rejoice in the wife of your youth. Let her breast satisfy you at all times. Be exhilarated always with her love." And that has become my favorite to tell me how to be a good wife to my husband.
Wow. Yes.
I know it's directed toward men, but it's one of my favorite verses of many.
And why do you say to tell you how to be a good wife to your husband?
Well, it's part of the experience we've had over the last many months. I have woken up to a lot of things that I was doing wrong that maybe led to some less desirable things in our marriage, and we have struggled. We've struggled a couple of times. We've been almost separated. Well, with one of us packing and saying we're leaving, and different. It's been really hard at times. And I've gone through a transformation of myself, and I give God the glory for that. But that is one of the verses that has helped me with that transformation. I feel it is my responsibility to be intimate and loving and sexual with my husband in order to keep him satisfied and want. I look at it like the Bible is telling my husband to be satisfied with my breasts at all times and to be exhilarated with my love. But he can't. It's difficult for him to do that if I'm turning him down, or if I'm not dressing myself up for his pleasure, if I'm withholding anything from him. So it has definitely been a part of my transformation.
Oh, that's so great to hear. I'm really excited to dive more into your story. And it's funny, I was literally just recording a video that is all about Proverbs 5 and how God cares about our sex and it matters to him, and it's so interesting. Anyone can get those videos at delightyourmarriage.com/, because it's a 3-part video series I'm doing right now. And so anyway, I just love that you talk about it as a wife's responsibility, because that's basically what God is saying. He's saying, here's the bad kind of sex. Don't do adultery, don't do adultery, don't do adultery. It says all of that. And then it says, but delight in the wife of your youth. And there's even a version that talks about be inebriated in her love, which is like, what?
Yes, exactly. I have read those versions.
Yes, it's so good. So I'm really glad that you mentioned that. And like I said, I want to get more into your story. So if you would, to talk about a difficult season or struggle in your marriage, if you would go into that, that would be awesome.
Okay. As I mentioned, there has been twice in our marriage. Once within the last year.
Yeah.
It was almost a year ago that it started. Yeah. And then the other time was about 5 years prior to that one. And both of those times we separated inside of our house, if that makes sense. We didn't sleep together, and we separated that way.
Yeah.
And I looked for places to live, and
wow.
he thought about leaving, different things. And
wow.
those were the two most difficult times ever in my life.
Wow.
We both lost a lot of weight. It was extremely hard, extremely painful.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't know how people that do divorce survive it, because I don't ever want to go there again. And
yeah.
It helps me, I think, to have compassion on people that have been there or are there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, can you share just a little bit about what was going through your head and your mind as you were deciding whether or not you should leave or stay?
Oh gosh, it was. There are some things that happened that I'm not real comfortable telling the details about, for the reason that it's painful. It's painful still. And when I try to talk about it, I usually start crying, and I don't like to talk about it. But it was, there were things that made me want to leave, and then and then it was like, no, this is my husband. We've been married 20 years, and I don't want to lose him. So we each of us was back and forth on whether to leave or go, and I praise God that we prayed through it and worked through it and survived.
And what do you think made you survive? Like, what do you think was the things that kept you together?
Well, I call it going to war ninja style, I think. I knew that I didn't want to lose my husband.
Yeah.
But we both knew that we weren't happy. And I spent a whole lot of time praying. I asked some people close to me to pray.
Yeah.
I got into the Word, and I pulled out Bible verses. I printed Bible verses and hung all over my bedroom and bathroom and read them and prayed them.
Wow.
And I became a ninja warrior, basically, is what I like to call it.
Yes.
And I wasn't willing to give up. I wasn't willing to have a mediocre marriage anymore. I wasn't willing to stay on the path we were on, because it was apparently not going to a good place.
Yeah.
So I went to a counselor who told me about the book, Love and Respect.
Oh, yes.
By
so good.
Emerson Eggert.
Yes.
And I read that. I actually got it on audio, because I'm an audio person. That's why I love your podcast, by the way.
Oh, good.
And so I listened to it on audio several times, especially the parts about respecting my husband. And at the end of it, I listened to the book over and over. Yes, it's important to respect your husband. And then I just sat down and wondered, well, what exactly does respect mean? And after 20-something years of marriage, I realized I didn't even know what it meant to respect my husband. And once I figured it out, I realized I had disrespected him in a whole lot of ways. And I was able to change that about me.
Yeah.
And my husband noticed.
Wow.
And that was one of the huge things that helped us to survive. Was I changed my disrespect toward him.
Can you tell me what it means to respect your husband? What kinds of things, what did you discover? What does it mean to respect your husband?
To be thankful toward him for the things that he does.
Yeah.
To honor his decisions, let him make decisions,
mm-hmm.
and tell him he's doing a good job with those decisions.
Mm.
I've often thought this too in the recent months, that I will see people out and about that disrespect their husbands, or let me take that back. They will treat other people with more respect than they treat their spouse.
Isn't that true? Yeah.
Like the waitress or the cashier or the person you pick your laundry up from. You'll tell them please and thank you and ask nicely, but get home to our husbands and gripe and nag and say mean things.
That is so true. Yeah, I love that point. Yeah. And so when you started to respect him, your husband actually, he could tell the difference.
He could. I think I could tell the very day that he realized, oh, he's respecting me now.
Oh, wow.
In the book, Dr. Emerson Eggerichs gives what he calls the respect test. And he says to think of 3 or 4 or so things that you do respect about your husband, and then you catch your husband one day at home when he's not preoccupied with something, and you say to him, oh, I was thinking today about some things I respect about you, and then you calmly leave the room, and Dr. Eggerichs says that your husband will follow you out of the room and say, wait, what was it? And I didn't do it exactly like that.
Yeah.
But when I did do it, my husband's countenance changed, and he was like, really, what? And
wow.
He was just different at that moment.
Ooh, that's a good piece of homework for our listeners to go go in front of your husband and just say, and wait. So you say, I was thinking about some things that I respect about you, and then leave the room and see if they respond by coming back after you and asking what it was, right? Oh,
yes.
I love that.
Yes.
That's really funny. Well, I want to ask you something, and let me know if you're comfortable or not, but if it was hard, after a separation, how is it after a separation, like becoming intimate again? Because obviously this was a piece of your, well, tell me actually, was this a piece of your kind of awakening in this area, if you would?
The one thing I tell my husband about our past 20-something years together is that the sex has always been really good. So,
oh, that's awesome.
To not be intimate was the difficult part. The coming back together was the easy part.
Oh, okay.
That we do thoroughly enjoy sex with each other, and we always have. But there's always been just a little bit of guilt there when oral sex is involved. I've always kind of thought at the back of my head maybe it was a little dirty and I shouldn't be participating, but this is kind of a lot of fun and I'm going to anyway.
Oh, good.
So your podcast has definitely helped me have the freedom to do that for my husband.
Wow.
And not only allow him to enjoy it, but I enjoy it, which helps him to enjoy it even more.
Oh, that's great to hear. Yeah. And do you feel the guilt is gone, or how are you feeling about that? Oh, good.
The guilt is gone, out the door.
Good. Oh, that's exciting. Yeah. Well, it's really neat to hear that was the easy part, because a lot of times it's kind of flipped around, that intimacy has stopped, and the rest of the relationship. Why do you think sex has been so easy for you all to just kind of fall into?
Well, I don't know why it was so easy. I guess the most struggle we had was in the beginning for the first few years. And I remember when my daughter was little.
Yeah.
I was a stay-at-home mom for a while, and during that time, I went to, I don't remember the name of the conference exactly, but it was a conference for stay-at-home moms, and I went to that.
Oh.
And one of the speakers there talked to us about enjoying your husband sexually, and so I came home with that, and it changed me some at that point. And
do you remember what she said?
Oh, goodness, no.
Yeah, it was going to a conference about...
It was geared towards stay-at-home moms, and there were lots of different little pull-out workshops available, and that I remember that being one of them, and I don't remember at all what it was about. I do remember the book Intimate Issues was brought up.
Oh,
and I did read that book a long time ago, so I had forgotten about that one actually, but it was one of the ones that helped me enjoy sex with my husband.
Yeah, that's great. And it's always been something that you all have enjoyed since after that conference. Yeah, that's cool. Well, if you do think of other tips or tricks that have kind of come through, that would be awesome. I know our listener loves to learn more about tips. Thank you so much for listening today. If you would like to receive that 3-part video series about spicing up the bedroom, go to delightyourmarriage.com/video, and that'll be for you. Otherwise, let's listen to the second half of Sarah's interview coming out on Thursday, and I'm excited to let you hear what actually happened and how she calls her marriage better than it's ever been. And you'll hear what she thinks about DYM as well, which is exciting. Okay, God bless you. Have a great day. And remember, just as she talked about in the beginning, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So whatever you're going through today, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. God bless you. I love you, and I'm praying for you in your marriage. Bye.
Thanks for listening. Stop by delightyourmarriage.com to check out all the show notes, as well as many more resources and articles. Until next time, live with love, wisdom, and passion.